Righto, in episode 3, we're just going to cover a few points that I haven't covered in the other episodes, just to tidy up some items on lists, folders, and the naming of tracks before we move on to editing tracks in the next episode. So here we are in Basecamp, and first of all, what I wanted to demo was how to delete things, waypoints and tracks from inside a Basecamp. Now if I just select this track down here, and if I'm just hitting the delete key on the computer, it has just deleted that track. Now because I'm actually looking at this list, so you can see I'm just displaying the contents of that list, all it has done is deleted that item from the list. If I now click on my collection as a whole keeps everything. Okay, so you can see there that track still exists now in my collection, but it's just been removed from the contents of that list. So if I want to put it back, then I can highlight it and I can drag and drop it in, which is what I would normally do, as you've seen me do. But I can also at any time do a right click, a copy, select that list, and then just press paste. So copy paste works just the same as any other Windows program. Now in this case I'm going to highlight it, and I'm right clicking, and I'm going to right click and delete as opposed to using the keyboard delete. And now this has a different function. Right click delete is asking me now whether I want to delete it from all lists. That would mean I would delete it completely and not be able to get it back. It would take it away from my collection as well. So just be very cautious with right click and delete, as there's no turning back. Once it's gone, it is gone. So in this case I'm going to cancel that. So as you can see there at the moment, I've got this folder selected, the test folder, and each folder or list that I select will show its contents on the map. So therefore, if I select my collection, it will show all of the tracks, waypoints, and everything that I have in Basecamp at the moment on the map, and also down in the lower screen of the menu, and you can see there it's showing everything in my collection. Now what you can do is, once your collection gets very, very large, and I can show you this later, you can decide to pick and choose sections of tracks to build a new list. So in this case, under weekend rides, I'll right click and select new list, and as you can see that new list is empty, it's got nothing in it. So then I'm going to open up my collection, and I think I'm going to grab the green one. So we'll see that is called alternative shortcut, and I'm going to right click, copy, then select new list and paste, and then I'm going to go back to my collection, and I think I'm going to have that track I created from Kilcoy, which is there, Kilcoy Sheep Station Creek, and copy, select my new list and paste. Now you can see it's a much easier way of building a new project or a new trip, because you can keep picking and selecting items from my collection and putting them into a new list, and then just selecting that list to give you a much clearer screen of what you want. Okay, and in a later episode I'll show you how you would go about that when you've got masses of tracks in your collection. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you that, the ability to copy and paste, and the two different types of delete. The single delete, such as if I delete this one now with the keyboard, and it disappears straight away, but it is still in my collection and it's not gone for good. Alright, so I'll just put that one back in, just copy that back in to my list. Now, as you see in my new list here, I have 2 tracks, and the title of that list at the moment is new list. I could always rename that, as I've done before, into Saturday's Ride, for instance. But that list, although if I transferred that list as a GPX folder to somebody else, they would see that title in the list. When the tracks actually go into the Garmin device, the naming down here of each of the individual tracks is all you will see in the Garmin device. So if you wish to order these in any way, shape or form, then it's quite often that people put a 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of them. But what I would recommend is that you use them alphabetically, because that's going to give you the ability to put 26 tracks in before the order gets distorted. If you do it numerically, obviously you'll get to 9, and then with Garmin devices it will put 10 next to 1, so it doesn't work that well. So in this particular case, I can either rename the track here by putting an A dot in front of it. That's one method of renaming, or as we've seen before, if I double click to open its information box, then I can equally rename it in the title here and put a B in front, and then just click out to save that. And as these are now numbered A and B, when you actually transfer them to the Garmin device, just by, again, we can just click and drag and drop, or we can right click and copy and select the internal storage on the Montana, and then press paste, and you'll see there the 2 tracks that I wanted to transfer have come up in the Montana, and when I open the screen of the Montana they'll be ordered A and then B. Okay, hopefully that tidies up a few things for this episode, and we'll start to edit tracks in the next one. Alright, thanks for listening.